His elbow caught me hard in the neck. My vision blurred. My throat burned. "College is for humans, not garbage like you," he spat, towering over me. My mother laughed from the couch. "Finally, you match the zero you are." I rubbed my throat, swallowed the pain, and smiled. That was the moment my revenge began. Once, I thought they were parents, protectors, people who would trade their breath for mine. But what I grew up with wasn't family. It was a pair of jailers who clipped my wings before I ever knew I had them. I was the mistake, the disappointment. My sister was the prized child, showered with gifts, defended even when she lied, praised even when she failed. Me? I was the punching bag. Still, some part of me clung to the idea that if I worked harder, scored higher, they'd finally see me. That's why I asked for the fees, not out of weakness, but hope. Hope, I learned that night, was a weapon they enjoyed breaking. The signs had been there for years. The hidden envelopes of money I found missing from my drawer. The birthday gifts that were always just for her. The way my mother's eyes narrowed when I brought home an A. And my father? The way his hand lingered on the bottle before it found me. But nothing branded the truth deeper than that elbow to my throat, that laughter, that sentence. Trash, zero, garbage. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I smiled. Because the worst thing you can give abusers isn't tears, it's silence. And in that silence, I planned. First, I stopped sharing. I worked night shifts at the corner store, tutoring kids after school, pocketing every rupee I earned. They thought I was still useless, wasting time in my room. They never asked. They never cared. That made hiding easy. Second, I listened. To my father's drunken rambling about unpaid debts. To my mother's whispered panic over bills. I memorized dates, names, amounts. Every weakness they had, I logged like a surgeon preparing for the cut. Third, I positioned myself. I applied for scholarships in secret, forged my own path through online exams, filed paperwork without their signatures. While they called me trash, I was building the escape hatch under their feet. The day my acceptance letter came, I folded it neatly, tucked it into a book, and never showed them. Not yet. Timing mattered. Revenge is nothing without timing. Instead, I played the part. I nodded when they mocked me. I cooked when they ordered. I endured, all while the clock ticked closer. Execution began small. I stopped paying their bills, the ones I had quietly covered for years to avoid his temper. Suddenly, the lights flickered, the phone line died, the landlord knocked. Then, I redirected. I contacted the creditors whose names I had memorized, feeding them precise information. Quiet nudges that led wolves straight to my father's door. And I slipped away, quietly. One bag, one night, gone before they could notice. The climax came 3 months later. I was sitting in my dorm, surrounded by books, when my phone lit up. 30 missed calls, then 50, then more. Finally, a message from my mother. "We need you. They're going to take the house." I let the phone buzz against the desk until it stilled. Hours later, another message, this time from my father. Short, desperate. "Please." The same man who smashed my neck, the same man who called me garbage, begging. I returned once, not to help, to witness. The house was hollow, furniture pawned off, paint peeling where water had leaked. My sister's room still intact, of course, protected until the very end. My father sat slumped, eyes sunken. My mother looked smaller than I'd ever seen her. When they saw me, something flickered. Relief, expectation. "You can fix this," my mother whispered. I shook my head, calm, controlled. No, I already fixed myself. My father tried to rise, but the weight of his debts kept him chained to the chair. His voice cracked. "We're your family." I leaned close enough for him to see the steadiness in my eyes. Family doesn't make trash out of their own blood. And then I left. I never looked back. Now I study in silence. I build a life they'll never touch. The scars on my neck remind me of where I came from, but also of what I refused to become. They thought they buried me under insults, violence, and neglect. What they didn't realize was that I was roots, not garbage, and roots push through concrete. Revenge wasn't fire, it wasn't screaming, it was leaving them in the ruins they created, and walking away with everything they said I'd never have.